Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Carrick, so we're going to be taking a look at another random nation, doing a little bit of a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, devising a strategy on the fly for a random country. And essentially this is a personal exercise, right, to get a little bit better at the game. This isn't for new players, this is for like a step up, right? But this is for players that are looking to level up their game. Every time you load this game, you get a different ecosystem, right? Like you could load the same country multiple times, you get a different ecosystem. So what we're going to try to do is play more tactically, try to develop a strategy, probably for a country I've never played before, right? This isn't a definitive guide to any particular country. It's just a way of showing the process on building a strategy for a country. So let's random and let's get right into it. Episode 1 is going to be just setting up the country, looking at the situation, devising that strategy, like theoretical strategy. And then episode 2, we'll actually put that to the test and we'll actually do some opening moves and see if it works out or not. Booyah, let's go. Colima, let's go. Let's go. So I have played, I think if I'm looking at where this is honed in, it looks like the music's flaring a little bit here. Oh, okay. So I have actually played as the Aztecs before. This probably isn't going to be too dissimilar of a situation. I was wondering if it was going to load us into the Mayan regions, because the Mayans have sort of a different thing going on. This is interesting, though. Now, the Aztecs are not as difficult as it would seem. There's a few things that make them a little bit easier. I'm calling all of these nations here the Aztec nations, the ones that have the Nahuatl religion and use the Doom reform system, which we're going to have to kind of review ourselves exactly how that works and what that's all about and stuff, because it's been a couple years since I've done the Aztecs, but we were using the Doom system or whatever when we did it. But essentially, these countries, like, because this is all one big blob, what you're trying to do is kind of unify Mesoamerica, Central America here, or sort of, I guess southern Mexico and such, and Central America. You're trying to sort of unify all this. Oh, I didn't know there was a little migratory tribe over here that started sort of in that region. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to unify this area before the Europeans come, right? And one of the things that we'll be able to unlock, actually, is a colonist. So one of the first reforms we'll be able to do is get a colonist. Once we get that colonist, we'll want to try to race up to like Louisiana area or race down to sort of the Columbia region in order to meet the Europeans, right? Because the final step to sort of ascend entirely, we're going to have to actually rub up against the European power so that we could sort of like get jump started up to their technology and sort of like through the final sort of to reform the religion, you have to be a neighboring, having embraced some institutions with an adjacent core province. So basically, we need the Europeans to land next to us, essentially, is what that's saying. But yeah, let's look at the internal situation here for Colima specifically. I actually don't know. If we're able the Sunset Invasion achievement specifically is for the Aztecs, but I don't know if it actually applies to any of these nations in this region with the Doom mechanic. I don't know. But the Sunset Invasion achievement is when you play as the Aztecs, you invade Europe, and you take over a lot of the important capitals like Rome, Amsterdam, London, Paris, Madrid, Lisboa, stuff like that. It's kind of a fun achievement. Kind of a tricky one, but again, there's different reasons why it's not too bad. One of the things is when the Europeans do land in the North and South America, we'll actually be able to get a war against their colonial nations without even bringing in the overlord nations. So you can kind of pick on the colonial nations relentlessly without having to actually face the wrath of the larger nations. But it is going to be a while until you get fully caught up economically and sort of militarily and technologically. Even if they show up, it still takes a while to get caught up. And in that time, you're very vulnerable. So it's kind of like the first 50 years is just sort of unifying this region. And then after that, there's like 100 years of sketchiness. But after that, you're kind of just like another European nation, just on a different continent, basically. And you're all caught up in everything. Okay, so what could we do here? We got a 3-2-2. We got a pretty good air here, actually. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we want to get this guy as a general or something like that, so that he can potentially, not a bad general, 2 siege, 2 shock, 3 maneuver, I'll take it. Because this guy's not particularly amazing. Our air is quite a bit better, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll want to focus admin points. I don't know, what's our, economy is doing okay. Doesn't look like we have any gold. There's a lot of gold down in this region. So getting over to this area would be man. Look at this gold in here. Just absolutely insane amounts of gold. Insane amounts of gold. So presumably, how close are we to getting some of that? Not very. We're either take these guys and then get to here, or take these guys and then get up to the Aztecs themselves. I think most of the nations in this region are going to be relatively similar in power. Like we can see over here, 6,000, 6,000. Most of these nations are, you know, the 4 to 5 provinces, right? We could look at the development of the Aztecs and see, okay, maybe they're a little bit higher development than us, but we're pretty decent. It's going to be a bunch of homogenized sort of nations in terms of like equivalent power. We don't have a fort. It looks like we don't really have any way to boost our economy. From what I can tell, we're basically only paying for our troops. We don't have any boats. We're not going to be able to get boats until we reform. So there's not going to be any sailing to the old world or anything like that. So we can just get... we don't even have cavalry, for crying out loud. I don't know if you can actually get cavalry because we're on military tech 1. It's like a whole different world over here. So we'll be able to build up to 9,000 force limit, which is actually kind of cool. And we'll probably want to do that. That's going to reduce our income by about 0.6. We could end up probably getting an advisor, which could be nice. I think focusing on admin is actually going to make a lot of sense. Oh, we're already a little bit leaning admin. The only thing I'm thinking here is we're not really going to be, we're going to be coring a lot of this land, but we're not really going to be able to get, technologies are going to be something that we're going to want, but we're already getting a 50% penalty on technology. So it's not a good situation. Maybe we like, let's see who we have here. Missionary strength, don't really need that right now. Everybody here should be Nathwaddle until we get over into the Mayans, which will be a little bit until we get down there. We actually get 3 diplomats. We have 3 free merchants too. We got a lot of stuff to look at here. Proof of relationship, this could be interesting, but the thing is, aggressive expansion is not really an issue for us. We're probably going to be conquering things so quickly that it doesn't matter. I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to conquer and take vassals. Basically, you conquer people and then you force vassalize them. And once you do 5 times, then you like reset. It's kind of an interesting little system. Oh, morale of armies person. Yep. I don't know. The thing is, like, can we afford that person? Can we afford that person? I'm going to say yes, we can. And then with our other money, let's get here. Do we actually have estates? We do have estates. Nice. We can summon a diet here. Base tax. Actually, that would be good. Especially if we do focus admin. We got that little extra bit of military power, so I think this will work out. So we could do, and developing your own country is going to be good, since we're going to be so behind on technology. We could actually make the Aztecs friendly with us. Do the Aztecs want an ally with us, sort of like off the bat? No? What about a royal marriage or something with them? No. So they're not feeling it. The Aztecs, they don't hate us, but they don't really like us. We could probably get the Aztecs as an ally for the short term. Have a lot of money. I think just developing our country is going to be the easiest thing we can do. Let's actually look at our rival situation here. We probably want to rival just the people that are next to us, to be honest. These guys have already rivaled us. Sure, let's do them. We said we wanted to kind of do these 2 guys so that we could get closer to the gold, right? This guy is not really in our way for getting gold. He's just got a bunch of grain. This guy might be someone that we want to ally, and it looks like... No, he's rivaled us. I would probably rather ally people that are a little bit, like, further away. Man, that guy's got a lot of gold, though. It's kind of interesting. Any of these nations are going to be relatively equivalent power, but yeah, getting some people that are a little further away could make sense. Some of these nations won't like us because they're Mayan. These guys are not the Waddle, though. I think we want to rival this guy, and we want to rival this guy. I think we leave this guy alone. He's not going to ally us, but I think we leave him alone. Definitely not going to be pronouncing things correctly. There we go. So we have our 3 rivals. We do need to think about allying somebody and also getting claims on people as well. Gems province right there. It's kind of cool. Oh, this guy actually has some gold. This guy actually has some gold. Let's start building a claim on this dude. And let's you know what the heck? If the Aztecs heretic religion, apparently these guys are animist and these guys are Mayan. I feel like this would be a decent ally here. This guy would be a good ally. We got some options here. We got some options here. Okay, this guy would actually just straight up Royal marry us. That would turn into an alliance. Likely. There we go. We'll ally this guy on the next day here when we get our diplomat back. It says we have a policy we can enact. A stability cost modifier. Sure. Yearly prestige is going to be better than that. We don't need stability cost, I don't think. 33% land right now. We have none for the merchant guilds, actually, just at all. Let's see some land. It's going to make everybody unhappy, but that's okay. We're actually pretty close to actually being able to give out land in order to get more monarch points. So like take something like the monthly diplomatic points or something. We want the one that gives us cheaper military advisors since we're already like doing that. Maybe we should have done that first before we hired them. We would have saved a few bucks. We can get a lot more. Manpower is actually probably going to be a pretty big issue. Something like this could be good. It's going to reduce our national tax rate. However, I think saving the money on the advisor is going to counterbalance that just fine. Let's do this one. It's just 10-10, right? Just gives them more influence, more loyalty, equilibrium. That's good. And hopefully we'll be able to boost up the... You know, I might hit this anyways. Yeah, just because that'll give more influence, and then we'll get more taxation by getting them more influence. Missionary maintenance costs, we don't need that right now. Plus the influence is kind of hard to overtake sometimes. We're not going to do this because everybody around us is our religion right now, so they're not heretics. Once we get down here, maybe with the Mayans, there's no way that we can afford any of these peeps. We're making money, and after those guys get trained, we'll still be making money, which is good. Just kind of looking around at our situation here. What do our missions look like? Build up to our force limit. Cool, we're doing that. Trustworthy allies. Okay, we're going to try to do that. That diplomatic reputation doesn't really do too much to us. But the get 2 subjects, that is going to happen pretty quickly. Although, realistically, I don't think we're going to... I don't think you annex them. We're going to have to read a little bit about our religion and our doom and try to like figure that out a touch before we actually unpause and start rolling here. We look really stable. -4. Ooh, national unrest. Let's go. Nithwaddle. -2 national unrest. Just straight up. That's way better than any tolerance of the true faith or anything like that. Morale of armies, 10%. Let's go. This is a good religion. This is a good religion. But -5% merchant guild influence. That's totally fine. That's fine. We can't do government until we reform our religion. We can't do government reforms. That's okay. This is looking good. This is looking good. I mean, the unrest is just going to be insane because we have 4 tolerance of the true faith plus an extra -4 national unrest there. So when we conquer land, I don't even think it's gonna affect us in any way. But the thing about Doom, what I wanted to look at is how do we get Doom? Doom goes up by 4 every year due to the number of provinces. If we reach 100 Doom, we have no choice but to sacrifice our ruling family, cast our nation into chaos. Our people believe that the world will come to an end unless our gods are strong enough to prevent it. So I know that you get subjects like, okay, how do we get these reforms done then? You do not fulfill all the requirements for unlocking this idea. Stability at least 1. Doom is less than 50. Have at least 5 vassals. we need 5 vassals. So when you have a vassal as this Nathwatl unreformed religion, basically, I'm pretty sure what we need to do is we take the vassals, and then you can like sacrifice their rulers and stuff like that. You don't have to sacrifice your own, you can just sacrifice theirs, and you can reduce doom that way. So you take a bunch of vassals, you reduce doom. In fact, actually, that's kind of interesting. I guess there's a world in which you take land directly. Like you take a couple provinces yourself, and then you vassalize what's left. Take a couple provinces yourself, vassalize what's left. Take a few provinces, vassalize what's left, right? Maybe that's actually the strategy. I'm not sure, but actually, the issue with the doom, right? There's a number of provinces increases the amount of doom gain. So you do have to you can only really take an amount of land that allows you to sort of keep control of your doom. So I guess we don't want to take too many provinces. Although I believe that number of religious reforms, the more reforms you get, the more land you'll be able to directly integrate. So the first thing we're going to want to do is just basically get, we're going to want to vassalize all of these guys, like straight up all of these guys. And then this guy, we need to vassalize like a bunch of dudes. A bunch of dudes. This will be pretty good down here because we can take see, we don't really want to take anything that's not contiguous. So the fact that this is the gold province is kind of a problem here. Because when you do the reform, you release your vassals. I'm pretty sure you just kick them out into the wind. I think we also are going to get a CB against our neighbors. Does it actually say? Flower Wars. Yeah, so we have CBs against everybody. We have CBs against everybody, but if we're going to take land for ourselves, it's still going to be beneficial to have some claims on it. Okay, we have merchants to do. So I think we understand what we need to do there. Okay, so we can only see one trade point. There's still going to be a benefit. I believe we can double check to see if this is true and then when we start running the game. But I believe having the merchant there collecting is going to give us a boost in the home node more than not having them there. Could be wrong about that, but we'll test it. And the other ones have a high income. That'll happen over time. These are just generic missions, right? Completely generic missions. Kind of a bummer. I think do the Aztecs have a few little interesting missions? I know the Inca Empire nations, I think, have little missions that help them form the Inca Empire, but... Oh wait, no, over here. Sort of, kind of. Not really. There's a couple little things that refer to driving out the Europeans, and then the Sunset Invasion. Which just gives us some points if we do some things. So not really a big deal there. But yeah, I think for the most part we've taken a look at Colima. In the next episode, let's actually run the time and actually see what we can do. See if we can actually start to create these vassal states and get the doom. Let's see if we can actually get one of these reforms so that we can be on the right track for doing this. Thanks everybody for being here. I will see you guys in the next episode. Where again we'll take a look at Colima and we'll do opening moves. But we've set up our country, we've talked about the overarching strategy and some of the unique systems to Colima and the environment a little bit, and we'll just have to see if it ends up working out for us or not. Alright, see you guys in the next episode.